Professor Neophytos Loizides, who studies international relations and conflict at the University of Kent. Lovely to have you with us. Take us back as to why this has been such a long-running issue.
One has to go back to the history to see how the two countries and their people frame the issue in very different ways. On the one hand, the inhabitants of what is going to be named, if the agreement passes through, of northern Macedonia, see themselves as a separate nation, and they aim to have a name that they choose, and they say that this is unprecedented to be asked to change our names. From the position of Greece, what is unprecedented is having their part of the history being appropriated by another nation. So we have here a conflict that both sides see in a different way, and the big question that this peace agreement tries to answer is whether one of the two sides should monopolize this name that is dear to both of them, or they should find, as they did yesterday, a constructive way to share the name and live peacefully in this part of the world.
And so, because it's been going on for so many years, how were they able to reach this agreement in the first place?
This agreement does something common sense. On this issue of the name, it stipulates that the republic we call North Macedonia, which distinguishes from the Greek province, it also has a number of provisions with regards to the ancient Greek culture that is recognized as Greek, the Macedonian culture of northern Greece, recognized as Greece, but also provisions that recognize the use of the name Macedonia for the language of the Republic of North Macedonia, the new republic. So everybody wins something from the agreement, either in the form of language rights or in the form of history.
So the Macedonian president is saying he's now going to stop this deal. Does he have the power to do that?
No, he has the power to delay the agreement. He has to go again in the parliament, and if the parliament votes in favor of the agreement, then they have to proceed. However, the prime minister, who is a moderate, Tsipras-Zaev, has promised, he committed already that we have to go through a referendum. So it's going to be a very interesting process where he will have to convince his people that this agreement makes sense and is acceptable and is honorable to the people of North Macedonia. And at the same time, there should be a constitutional amendment in the republic, and then the Greek parliament will have to ratify it.
So what is your sense of where the public support lies?
I believe the public in the republic will vote for it, partly because the Prime Minister Zaev has a majority in the parliament, but also because the Albanians in the country will also support it. In the Greek side, there should be no referendum, because according to Greek politicians, the question of how the republic will call itself is not an issue for a public vote, but there should be a majority support in the parliament. The indication so far is that the governing party, Syriza, supports the agreement. There might be some complications with their allies in the parliament, the independent Greeks. However, there are other parties in the Greek parliament who are also in favor of the agreement. Therefore, I would not foresee any problems with the ratification on both sides.
And do you think this will, maybe with a few hiccups, end this very long-running dispute?
There are a number of provisions that are not only going to end this dispute, but they will create a paradigm for better settlements in the region in the future, apart from the name issue. The provisions on having joint cabinet meetings, on having a high-level cooperation council meeting every year with the two prime ministers. So it builds institutions for sustainable development, friendship, and peace in the region.
Neophytos, thank you very much for explaining that all to us.
Thank you.
Well, at least 15 people have died and dozens are believed to still be missing after two boats sank in Indonesia. A longboat carrying about 43 people sank